Grandpa Dave here. How are you? It's almost Halloween. Do you like it? Fetching, right? Hey, I want to talk about the wars I had when I was a kid with the neighbors. Stick around and I'll tell you all about it.
So I was really interested in that last one, the battles with your neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
What other battles did you get into with them?
Well, the question is where do I start? Let me start by telling you a little bit about what the neighborhood was like, so you can kind of get a gist of things. So you know about the house, you know about the hellacious drop from the back of the house into the backyard. My father had built a fence that went on this side against the road and this side against the blacksmith. There was a blacksmith shop behind us. It was taboo. You were not allowed to go there. Ever. Ever. However, to a kid, taboo means open territory. So I go out one day, and I'm playing around, and I find a rock. Pretty cool rock. I'm learning to throw, because I'm just a kid. And I toss it, and the most sweet sound I have ever heard in my life, angelic chords went, psh. No idea where that sound come from, so I threw another rock and went, I wanted to know where the psh, I didn't care about the So I went outside to the sidewalk, the other side of the fence, walked down to no man's land, and you know what I did? Windows! A plethora of windows going down the blacksmith shop. Oh my, how did I miss this? They made the sweetest sound when you threw a rock through it. It was great. And I was getting good at it because I could hit where I threw. And I broke these windows out, and I broke these windows out, and I broke these windows out. And I was about to break these windows out when a truck pulled in. It was a blacksmith. "What are you doing?" he said. "I don't know." "Ain't in my window." "I don't know." "Oh my gosh. I've got two arms. See how this one's longer than that one? That's because he pulled this arm out of the socket and dragged me to see my dad." I remember standing on that precipice of that thing I talked about last time, the one that goes 10,000 feet below. He dragged me up there with 2 steps. It takes me 10 steps to get down that thing. Oh, my dad was not happy. Evidently, I'd done something really bad. I couldn't figure out exactly why. They just went, psh, it was really pretty sounding. I didn't realize that it cost money to replace. If I did, I would have worked faster and not been caught. Well, you know what happened? Remember this? Oh yeah, this happened. I was put into jail. And my dad said, "You're going to earn that money to pay for those windows." Now, between you and me and a rock, I don't know how a 4-year-old or 5-year-old, how old I was, but I can remember it, earns money to pay for windows, but okay. That is what it is. I'm not an evil bad guy, I didn't realize, just a kid. Well, certain skills were learned there, like throwing things in an accurate manner. Life is about skills and learning. Remember that. That's the free wisdom for the day, but that's not exactly the wisdom that I'm going to tell you, but, just chalk that down as Grandpa Dave wisdom. Well, that kind of reunified in my brain, stay away from the shop there, which later on I'd violate course, you knew that because I'm telling you these stories. Well, during that summer, the neighbors on the other side of the city lot, they thought they were richer than everyone else and better than everyone else. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember those days. Prissy little kids. Girls. Very prissy. Noses so up in the air that they'd suck air in just by walking. Yeah, I didn't like them and they didn't like me. It's alright. They'd throw water balloons at me, I'd squirt them with a squirt gun. Then they'd bring out the hose and they'd squirt me. Things were brewing to be a bad situation coming. Let's go back to when I took out those windows. So I'm in jail. And I'm thinking, no friends had come talk to me. For some reason I was taboo. I don't know why. Just a couple windows. I sat in there and I thought, well, I'm in jail. There's got to be something done with those prissy neighbors. What could I do? I went to bed, slept on it. Something came to me and says, it'll come to you. The solution will come to you. I'm outside playing the next day. Everything's good. Totally forgot about the windows, which I'm sure my dad had. At those times, what was it, like $10? So, I'm outside playing. And I see in the distance, in the backyard, those neighbor girls. And you know what they were doing? Prissy little shits. They were sitting on a table in their backyard having a tea party. And you know, there's a little angel and little devil. The angel never showed up for some reason, but the devil said, you know what? I got an idea. All right. So I paid attention. I went across the street to the store and assumed or how do I put this? Borrowed a package of smoke bombs. You know, little round ones that look like cherry bombs. I was actually kind of hoping they were cherry bombs that would explode and blow that whole thing apart, but you know, it is what it is. As a kid. Went to my dad's bedroom, got into a sock drawer, and found a thing of matches. I was going to get them. Oh, I had it on them. Oh, I was going to get them really good. Oh, they had no idea it was coming. I crept out from the abyss of that awful stairway and inched my way down very carefully and made my way to the edge of the building. Boys, I got a little more. They're having their tea party. They have no idea what's coming. But the grass, no man's land. I had to get across no man's land for them. They couldn't see me coming. If they saw me coming, they know what was going to happen. Now, between us and them, they had a hedge. Not really a hedge, but you know, the occasional bush and little wrought island, little fence going across. I snuck, even low crawled, like a true commando. I had a mission. I had a mission that had to be done, and the enemy was having a tea party. Oh yeah, not an innocent tea party. Innocent tea was being destroyed in this tea party, and I was going to vindicate that. I was going to take them out. I got to a bush within throwing range. They still hadn't seen me. And they sat there and they drank their fake tea and ate those really delicious looking little cookies. I was kind of hoping I could chase them away and steal the cookies. But that's not here or there. I'm not a thief. Well, yes I am. I stole the bombs. But the thing is that doesn't matter. I was in the right, they were in the wrong. So what I did is I picked a bomb. Ooh, a yellow one. Yellow. Tea party. Yellow. Yellow. Tea. Yellow. Yeah. Lit the match. Toss it. Flew over. Bounced under their table. The dopes didn't even know I'd thrown it. Yellow smoke poured. I was elated. They were upset. I followed through with a green one, and then a red one. They went arms flailing, screaming, now to the end of their house, right there on the back on the west side of their house. They had a stairway that went down into their basement, concrete stairway. Then a door into the room downstairs. And they ran, and they ran, and I lit, and I threw, and I lit, and I threw, and I lit. Blue, green, red, down those stairways, and I got a couple into the door. You know how I got them through the door? Because it came out the window. I was so pleased with myself. I won. The biggest battle of my life. I was the victor. I walked home triumphant. Chest spread out like Patton. I made my way home, assured in my bigness, only to see my father standing at the doorway. "Got something to tell me?" he said. "What?" "Come on. Remember this long arm? It went this way now, and I was being dragged to the enemy's house. It was an act of war, right? Collateral damage, you know this thing? Oh, no, I was being dragged with their feet dragging. There stood my enemy. 3 girls, prissy little stinkers. Their mother, their father, you could barely tell the difference. But the problem was their dad was the justice of the peace of the city, the judge. Evidently, what I didn't know, and was soon to find out, the red, green, yellow smoke bombs against concrete stain. And I was pointed out the most beautiful panorama going down their stairways of colors, modern art. Andy Warhol would be happy. Oh no, they weren't happy, evidently. Sitting there on the ground was a bucket of suds water and a brush. My dad said, "First of all, you're going to grab that bucket and you're going to scrub all that off, stain off their house. Then you're going to come home and we'll talk." Okay. 49,000 years scrubbing while 3 arrogant little poo-poos sat and had a tea party and catcalled me all day long. "Ah, you're stupid. Ah, you're so stupid. Ah, oh. Well, I did the best I could. The judge comes out and says, "Just go home and talk to your dad." I went home. Walked into the house, looked both ways. No dad. Maybe I'll get out of this. Walked into the kitchen. I think I got away with this. I got away. Nope. There he was. "Finished, are you?" I couldn't sit for a week, but I was put aside into my jail. As I sat in my jail, my commanders, the local kids, come to the window this time. They abandoned me the day before, but this time they came, and I said, "You know what, guys? We need to call a war conference." A war conference? Yes, a war conference. This has escalated into bloodshed. We We need to discuss this. When? In the morning, after howdy doody. Okay. In the morning after howdy doody. And Captain Kangaroo. And maybe a couple Bugs Bunny cartoons. I left the home. I found my commanders. I had to find them myself. I drugged them over and I said, you know what we need for a war council? We cannot have one without a campfire. Now, when I talked the neighbor's property next to the city lot, the neighbor's property extended all the way in through the block because he was a farmer and he had some places there for his tractors and stuff. Well, the city lot ended abruptly, and then it had a 6-foot drop. It was kind of this way, you know, kind of angled off. And then it went into what we called the jungle. Now, the jungle was owned by the orchards. As you recall, I called them the orchards. Now, the orchards had all kinds of trees in there. Apple trees, cherry trees, a big nice barn I was supposed to stay away from. It was taboo land, but we went there anyway. Now, as the went down to no man's land, you know, the place I shouldn't go, and the city lot ended, it was just tall grass. Now, over there in the enemy's property was a tree that they'd made this stupid little tree house, which I really wanted to destroy, but I could never get close enough. However, that not being said, we decided to have the campfire on the hillside in the tall grass. No one would see us in the tall grass, especially in July. You know, when the grass is dry. Kind of putting things together, aren't you? All right. Well, you gotta have something to burn to have a campfire. So back when I was a kid, the grocery stores and the gas stations, they all gave these stamps. You know, your parents would buy a certain amount of things, they get some stamps in return, they put them in these books. They called them green stamps and gold stamps, S&H green stamp. Well, the books were free. My mom sent me over there many times to grab a bunch of books. She'd fill them up, and we got these really cool things like a ping pong table, and we got this really cool clock that looked like a big star thingy-majigger, like a giant ninja star, but you could kill like 23 people when you threw it. It was pretty dang cool. Anyway, doesn't matter. I don't know what else she bought. Probably nothing for me, but doesn't really matter. Well, it did then, but it doesn't now. So anyway, I went in there and I decided to grab a handful. This is going to be the bonfire. S&H green stamp bonfire, perfect for a war council. So I showed up my friends and said, all right, we're going to have a fire. Put all these books down, ruffle them up. Matches. Snuck back into the house. You know, that book of matches that my dad had taken from me from the incident the day before was still on the counter. What a buffoon. So I grabbed the matches and I went back. There were still a bunch of them in there. Fire. All right, let's discuss this. The little buggers are over there. We're going to take them out. What do we do? I don't know. Water balloons, possibly. How about water balloons with sewage? How do we get sewage? I don't know. Fire is going. The council is talking. Ideas are being passed. We were building up to something big when I realized that the fire was much bigger than it should have been. It should have been here, but it was now behind me, on this side and on that side. Evidently, on July, when the grass is dry, it's not a good idea to start a bonfire. Well, campfire. The hillside was now on fire, and we were panicked, and we were trying to put it out. Lo and behold, a horrifying sound came from the trees. Boys, put that fire out! Lordy, it was the judge. And right behind that sound was a sound of cloddy old boots. And he had the big boots went up clear to his knees, I swear to heaven. Rubber boots. Next thing you know, a hose is being sprayed on everything. Fire's going out, everything going on. There's a lot of things going on. Kids running, screaming. I'm going, oh my gosh, everything falling apart. My enemies come to aid me. I looked around and I was alone. My friends had abandoned me. Buttheads. Mr. Watkins, if I was you, I'd go home. This is back in the days when you dialed like this. Remember that? Of course you don't. Little dial thing. If it was possible, I'm pretty sure those neighbors had my parents' phone number on speed dial. Because as I went home, and I took as long as possible, defeated, beaten, I almost felt like Germany did at the time when they lost the war. Is this how Hitler felt? I made my way. My dad this time was on top of that precipice I called a stairway. Here we go. I could still feel the beating I had before. Do you know when you're numb from the beating before, you can feel the new beating? Yes, you can. It was early in the day. I don't recall having lunch or dinner. And this time I sat alone in that room. All alone. And I was banned from talking to the neighbor kids. If I even come within 5 feet of their property, I would be in trouble. Was it the end of the wars? Who knows? Were there other things to come? Oh yeah. But maybe not in that general area. Because what I haven't told about is the new sister that was born. I had a new sister that was born a few years before that. And the enemy had a new sister born. And how was I to know that they would become friends? And because they became friends, really put me in a position. I was banned from continuing the war, yet the little stinkers wanted to continue the war. My butt couldn't handle too much more. What was I to do? Nothing. That was the end of the war, at least to that point. But there was more to come, to add more gray hair to my parents' head. Stay around. I'll tell you more. Grandpa Dave here with a little bit of wisdom. You know, I've been married for like 96 years. What? 44 years. Come November 9th. And I've learned certain things about women that I'd like to pass on to you, if you don't mind. How I've stayed healthy and happy and get along with my wife. There are actually 2 words, 2 very important words. So this would be like number 3, right? I didn't. Number 3. 3. 2 words that are important that I've found that I say at the first thing in the morning when I wake and before I go to sleep at night. They're words that you'll find are, most wives want to hear from you. Don't say I love you, because that's probably not it. That's 3 words. I love you. This is 2 words. Do you know what they are? Okay. Listen and pay attention. Now practice with me. I'm sorry. When I go to bed at night, I say, I'm sorry. I have no idea what I've done through the day, but it somehow seems to help. In the mornings when I wake up, I say, I'm sorry. I have no idea what I did when I was asleep. Could have been a dream thing, I have no idea. That'll keep you out of trouble. Stay tuned. I have other forms of wisdom to spread another time.